Okay, this video is going to be talking about graphing linear equations by tables. I'm not giving you any specific format for your note taking, but please remember, I want you to make sure you're taking notes in whatever way you want to take the notes. You can do it the way we do in class. You can do a graphic organizer of some kind, but I do want you to make sure you're taking your notes in such a way that you can go back and focus your notes after we've discussed it more in class. So, graphing linear equations by tables. First, you're going to decide whether or not an ordered pair is a solution or a point on the line. That could be a question that they ask on a test. So, it's very simple to do. You're just going to substitute x and y values from an ordered pair into the equation and see if it matches each other. The left side obviously should equal the right side. So, we have an example here. We have 4y minus 3x is equal to -7, and we have our ordered pair. This is actually given to us. That's what they gave us. So we're going to go to plug that in for our x and y values. Okay, so we have our x value is -2, we have our y value is 5. So we have 4 times 5 minus 3 times -2 is equal to -7. When we do the math, 4 times 5 is 20. Remember, this is a negative times a negative, so that's going to be a positive. That's going to be plus 6 is equal to -7. Well, clearly, 26 is not equal to -7. Therefore, this order pair here is not a solution. It is not a solution. Our next part, we might have, it says find 3 different ordered pairs that are solutions to the equation. You're going to pick any x value, plug it into the equation, and get the y value, and then write as an ordered pair. Yes, I noticed my typo there. For the fractions, always use numbers compatible with the denominators. In other words, you're going to use multiples of the denominator. And I'll show you that with our second example there. So the first one, though, we're going to, let's say that we're given these ordered pairs here. I'm given 1, 3. I'm given 0, 2. I'm sorry, 0, -2, and I'm given -1, -7. So I need to take, I can start with any one of these, but I just tend to go in order. So I'm going to plug in my x value and see if I get my y value when I do this. So my first one here is a 5 times 1 minus 2. When you do that math, 5 times 1 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. So this one here does check out. We'll do the next one. We have 5 times 0 minus 2. That means 0 minus 2, which is -2, so this one also checks out because the y does equal -2. Then we have 5 times -1 minus 2. And again, all I did was I plugged in these x values right here. I plugged them in right there. That's all I've done. So 5 times -1, that's a -5. -5 minus 2 does give me -7. So that these all check out. So this one is, these order pairs do check out for that. Now the next one, we do have a fraction, and like it said right here, we want to use multiples of the denominator. So what I'm going to do then is, on this case, we have 7, 0, we have 0, 1, and we have -7, 2. So again, I'm going to plug this in. I have -1/7 times 7 plus 1. So again, all I'm doing is taking my x values, and I'm plugging them in right here in the parentheses each time. So when I do the math there, we have these cancel out, so we have -1 plus 1, and it does equal 0. The next one we have is -1/7 times 0 plus 1. And when I do that, this is 0. That just cancels out because anything times 0 is 0. And this checks out because I have 1 left over, so my y is 1. Now we also have -1/7 times -7/1. If you want to think of it that way, or just times -7, and then plus 1. Again, the 7's cancel out. A negative times a negative is a positive, and that's a +1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so that one also checks out. Now this one is a little tricky. This tends to throw people. What we're saying here, we're saying that x is equal to 3. So if x equals 3, that literally means that every single time that I have an x value of 3, or excuse me, every single time I have an x value of 3. So there's my x value. My y values can be anything because no matter what, my x is always 3. So when I do this, I can just pick any number. So it's 10, we have -4, and we have 8. Because no matter what, my x value is always, always, always going to be 3, because it tells me x equals 3. Okay, the next one here, we have using a table of values to graph the equation. You're going to make sure that you pick 3 values for the table and then plug them into the equation to get your y values. They're not giving me any kind of table this time. So I'm always going to pick numbers that are very, very simple to use. So what we're going to do here, I like to make a little T-chart. If you wanted to make it longer and make like an H chart, you could have the rule in the middle if you wanted to. So you have X and Y. Some people do 4 columns, and then you have the X value, the rule, the Y value, and the 4th column is your ordered pair. It's all up to you on how to do it or how you want to do it. But what I'm going to do is, here's my X values, and I'm going to figure out what my Y value is. I'm always picking the most simple numbers I can pick. I want to pick a negative number, always pick 0, and I want to pick a positive number. Every now and then you might want to pick one more number to make sure that it works, but a -1, 0, 1, these are the easiest to use if I don't have fractions. If we have a fraction, remember we want it to be a fraction-friendly number, so we would take that into account. All right, so I'm going to plug in -1 for this, so I have the negative x. I'm sorry, that was going to be -1. I have -1 plus 2, or excuse me, I have a -1 plus 2, because remember this was a negative x. My x value is -1, so you want to make sure you're plugging your x values in parentheses always. So this is a -1, which makes it a 1 plus 2, so my y value is 3, because this became positives. My 0, that's easy enough. I have 0 plus 2. That makes my y value 2. Now I have a -1 is my x value, plus 2, and that's going to make it a -1 plus 2, which gives me 1. So there's my order pairs, and now I'm going to go ahead and graph those order pairs on my graph. So I have -1, 3, 1 to the left and 3 up, 1, 2, 3, and place a point right there. I have 0, 2. I'm not going to go right or left. I'm just going to go up 2 and place another point. And then I'm going to go 1 to the right and 1 up, and there's my point. Remember, once you make these points, we have to draw a line because this is a linear equation here. Remember, linear means line, so I don't have dots only, I have a line. Now, do not freehand your line. I have to here, but you want to make sure that you line it up with the ruler because your line should go right through all those other points. So doing that rise over run idea of going up 1 and left 1, up 1, left 1 to get your next points on the line. So this is graphing linear equations by tables. This is just a quick video on it. Remember, again, take your notes in any way that you want to, but please make sure you're ready to share them in class.